Okay, so we're done with number 1. Let's see number 2. Can someone please read number 2? Dima, yes. Dima, yes.
معلش تهت وين نمبر 2 هو؟
صفحة 16. ثاني فقرة ثالث سطر.
Yeah, yes. I am to strive with everything in me to keep our family together and not ever take charity from anybody, even if our tongues hang out, parched down to our knees, because charity is seldom of real service to these upon whom it is bestowed
والله بدي
and
أجيب الشاحن يمكن يطفي فجأة اللابتوب.
okay.
Yes.
And those who receive it are always looked upon with suspicion, every need and want scrutinized.
خلصتي ما خلصتيش؟
لا خلصت number 3 بعديها.
Need and wants scrutinized. Okay. Before I begin, I want to ask you if you remember any verse in the Quran that speaks about a similar idea. Can you think of any verse, ayah, that speaks about something similar, about charity, sadaqah? Yes. حدش متذكر حاجة لها علاقة بالموضوع؟
Yes. ممكن إن تبدوا الصدقات فنعما هي وإن تخفوها وتؤتوها الفقراء فهو خير لكم.
ماشي، بس هو هنا إيش بيحكي؟ بيحكي عن when you ask for charity, people are going to look down to you. It's not going to be actual service. People will look at you in suspicion.
ممكن إنه في آية بتحكي ولا يسألون الناس إلحافا تعرفهم بسيماهم من التعفف.
تمام، بس لسه يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تبطلوا صدقاتكم بالمن والأذى. إيش هذا معناته؟ معناته إنه sometimes some people when they give you charity, they don't just give you charity because they're good people. They give you charity and then they start saying, they don't, I don't know if they say it clearly, but they act as if they own you, because when someone gives you money, it makes you feel like they own you. It's like they can control you, and that's what he's afraid of. He's worried that after his death, if his children start taking money from people, other people are going to control them. And I think it makes sense. And that's why Allah, when he said give charity, he asked, or he ordered those who give charity not to belittle those who are given such charity. And again, if you remember, or if you think about it, we're talking about a very materialistic world. Even the preacher wants money. So if he could protect his children from the effect of seeking money, from the impact of following the temptation of money, then yes, he would make sure that his children are going to be better after him. And it's one of the reasons why he does not want his daughter to marry Kaiser, because he doesn't want Kaiser to think he could buy Roy's daughter for money. And that's why I said, if it were someone else, they would feel happy to be a part of a marriage that's going to guarantee them money, land, property. But here we see how the Roy Luther, defies the system of the world of how money controls everything. But then how are they going to live? It's like you're not leaving your children with any money, and you don't want them to ask anyone for money. And you tell them that if you have to die of hunger, do not ask people for money. It sounds a little bit too proud of him to say this, because what are they going to do after you die? And this is the same question that Mary Cole asks. If you look at the end of the page, in the last paragraph, on my word of highest honor, did you see it? The last paragraph, page 16, line 2. Just how I am to bring them about, I don't know, nor does he. Never a strong man or one able to think things out. So this means that he's asking her to make the promises. He's asking her to do this, but neither he nor she know how to do it. Same thing with wanting him to be buried. Like, you want us to bury you and to move you through using a wagon. But how am I going to get the wagon? Who should I call? When you die and we want to eat, from where are we going to get money? How are we going to eat? He doesn't know. He doesn't have answers for this, and nor does she. And again, okay, we established that he's a caring father, but aren't you being a little bit too proud? And if you want to make sure that your children do not beg for money or for food, shouldn't you at least have thought about this earlier and have tried to leave some fortune for them, some money? Can someone read number 3?
Yes, Miss, can I?
مين اللي بتحكي ما شفتش؟ احكي اسمك.
روان.
تفضلي يا روان.
روان.
تفضلي.
I am to keep Devola with me always. I am to be good and kind and loving to her, and see to it that the others are too. I am not to let her marry Kaiser Peace. If ever it looks to me like this is about to happen, then I am to go to town, find the nearest judge, tell him about how Devola is, and get him to stop it.
Do you think this is possible to happen?
No.
Like, can she prevent the marriage? Can she go to the town alone? Can she find the judge? Can she persuade the judge to stop a man like Kaiser from marrying her sister? Is this something a 14-year-old girl can do? Yes, Khadija.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to say that. And no, firstly, she's a 14-year-old girl and she can't do this all by her own. And secondly, Devola is older than her. So I think no one would believe her that my sister is cloudy-headed and stuff like that. And she's only 14. And she can't, she wants to go to the judge to tell him this. I think the age won't help her.
Exactly. And how is she going to get there? So although the things Luther asks Mary Cole to do, at first they sound like, wow, they're good. He's trying his best to make sure that his children are not being controlled by others. He wants his daughters to be close to each other. He wants to protect Devola, and he wants to his children to be proud of being a Luther. But come on, let's be honest about it. How are they going to be proud of being a Luther when they don't have anything to be proud of? how are they going to, some of them are cloudy headed, so maybe it runs in the family, and you don't want us to ask for money, but how are we going to eat? How are we going to drink? What are we going to do? You don't even want Devola to marry that man. And again, we ask the question, is it because he's rich or it's because she's cloud-headed? And we know that he loves her. We know that Kaiser loves her. So I don't think he would, let's say, we haven't read anything that shows us that Kaiser would be evil to Devola. In fact, he wants to protect her. He wants to protect her family. He wants to give them money and land. So why the hate? Why not want your daughter to marry him? Why not enjoy a better status of life? Maybe because, again, he is too arrogant when it comes to money, because he hates money, because he hates the system that he lives in, because he hates this world that only focuses on the financial aspect. I want you to go to page 17. And I want you to listen to what Mary Cole says about the death of her father. I want you to read the third paragraph. Sometimes when I look at him, I want you to highlight this. Sometimes when I look at him, I'm stirred to an unholy anger. I think, God help me, Roy Luther, I don't want you dead, and that's the truth. Now, we found from the beginning that Mary Cole is trying to detach herself from him. She blames him. She thinks that he shouldn't have done this to them. But here we see that, hold on, Mary Cole still thinks of him as her father. She still fears for his death. She still wants him to be alive, because once he dies, she's going to have to take care of everything. And now listen to this. But since it's going to happen anyhow, I wish it could hurry up and be over with, for it's pulling us all to pieces. And I need to get on with things and try to fix them around so that life will be easier for those of us who are left. So it's like she wants things to get, she wants to get over with things, her father dying, so that she would assume the responsibility he has asked her to assume, so that she would go through the problem, so that she would fix the problem and then move on. Whoa. That's a little bit like too much. It's like, يلا اعمل الامتحان عشان انا عارف اني هسقط، عشان بدي اسقط عشان اعيد المادة. Like, ادرس. Try not to fail. Yani, why do you want to wait for your father's death to put everything back into pieces? It's weird. It's weird that this comes to the mind of a 14-year-old girl. It's like she just wants him to die so that the promised responsibility like she gets the promised responsibility, and then she does the things she promised so that she would be relieved that she's done with the promises and she's kept them. Again, like, you're only 14. Why should this even come to your mind? And I get scared and I think, but how am I going to do this? Who will show me how, and who will help me? What do we understand about Mary Cole's character from these lines? What do you understand about her? How do you feel about her? Do you think she's being rational? Do you think she's being rational?
No, she's sick.
Yes, Ghaida?
I said that she's not rational. She is sick. Maybe she is the one who is head clouded with it.
Okay, that's one. Yes. What's
No,
it?
I think we all done things like that.
We all have these thoughts that you want the problem to happen so that you try to just fix it and go past it. Yeah. Okay, I want you to think about that and we'll discuss it in class. عشان نكمل. Okay? And then I
Can
get
I
mad and I say to myself, oh, quit your bilyaching. There's a way. All you have to do is find it. So we see hope. That's what I wanted to discuss, is that she sounds very hopeless, but then it's like she awakens herself, pinches herself. No, you can do this. You don't know how yet, but when the time comes, you will know what you should do. And this is what she says to herself. There is a way. All you have to do is find it. All those witch hazel leaves weighed a pound apiece. Going home, I expressed this wish to Devola, but she just smiled and said she was hungry. Remember when Maricol said that Devola did not know her way in the kitchen? Do you remember that? She said that she doesn't know anything about being a wife. She doesn't know anything about being in the kitchen. Do you remember that? Yeah? Do you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now I want you to look at page 18, line 1, 2, 3, 4. Devola is good about the cooking and Imadine and Romy are good about eating. So we know that Devola knows how to cook. Do you usually let people who are irresponsible, people who are cloud-headed, do you let them use the oven? Do you let them play with fire?
No, of course
Absolutely.
No, no. If I had a sister who has a mental illness, cannot get married, I would not let her anyway near the kitchen. She could burn the house, right? She could kill everyone. She could ruin the food. But Devola is good about the cooking. They don't whine when I tell them that there is nothing to sweeten the end of a plain meal. Amadine just softly draws in her breath and says, well, maybe tomorrow. And this again shows how they're all hopeful, that the hope of tomorrow. Can you please underline that? Maybe tomorrow shows hope in the future, even though they know they're not going to get much money, that they know nothing good is going to happen. But this could also be a foreshadowing for possible change. And then we have Romy asking about how old the mountains are. And don't you think that Maricol is overreacting, not knowing how old the mountain is? Like, why should there be a book about how old the mountain is? I mean, it doesn't sound like it's a very important piece of information so that she would rebuke herself for not knowing how old the mountains are. And then she says, it's not all right with me not to know this. I need to correct my ignorance. I need so many things. And I think here it's like we get a glimpse of the personality of Maricol. And if we could describe her, we could say that number one, she's rebellious. She doesn't like things to be the way they are. Number two, I don't want to call her a dreamer. She's not a dreamer, but it's like maybe the word,
Miss, can I?
yes,
Can we call her perfectionist?
yes, she could be a perfectionist, yes.
Yeah.
She's not self-confident. She doesn't like, not self-confident, but like she doesn't have confidence about her knowledge. But why should a 14-year-old girl know how old a mountain is? And why should she feel that she should know how old a mountain is? I mean, she's very young. And you like, if you have any 14-year-olds around you and you ask them about not how old a mountain is, but if you ask them about the capitals of some countries, they wouldn't know them. And capitals are a more basic or sorry, more basic information. Or maybe ask about things that are in science, maybe ask about things, I don't know, that could have value. But why would she rebuke herself for not knowing? She's 14, and so why would she rebuke herself for not knowing how old the mountains are? And I don't know if we could call her a knowledge seeker, because it's not about her wanting to know more as much as it's about her wanting to be more, to have a better position in the society, to, I don't know, to become something better than she is. She just doesn't want to be ignorant. Does that make sense? I need so many things. From the beginning, we don't see her talking about her needs, and this is the first time we know that she cares about what she wants, what she needs. Because from the beginning, we see that she takes care of her brothers and sisters. She goes and collects the leaves in order to sell them. She takes care of the father. She's going to do what the father wants her to do. And now we get like to know that, okay, she too has her own needs. She too has her own wants. Now, you're going to notice that in this novel, there's not much, it's not about the quotations, the language, as much as it is about the events. That's why, and this is one of the main differences that you're going to notice between this novel and the first one we studied. In the first novel, in The Outsiders, we explored the meanings behind the words. We explored the quotations, the language itself. The descriptions gave us an idea about the characters. But here you're going to notice that not all the description matters. Sometimes she just describes things without having an underlying meaning. And the dialogues sometimes give us hints, but the most important thing about the novel and how it helps the plot development is that it's about what happens, the actions, the deaths, the decisions that are made. From here until the end, we're going to ask ourselves, is she going to be proud for being a Luther until the end? Is she not going to ask for money? Is she going to be able to prevent the marriage of her sister? So instead of looking for the language in the development of the characters and the plot, we're going to be looking for events. Is she going to keep her promises or not? Is she going to fulfill the things her father asked her to do or not? Okay, does that make sense? Now, I know you just want to go back to your lives now. So here's what I'm going to do. Inshallah, by tonight, yani inshallah, I'll be recording chapter 2. Tomorrow, بإذن الله. Tomorrow حنكون غالبا يعني كتير مضغوطين وهروح أكيد تعبانة ودي أنام فغالبا لا. فيوم الاثنين يوم الأحد عفوا I'll record chapter 3. I need you on Monday to be prepared for chapter 4. رجاءً. On Monday, please be prepared for chapter 4. وchapter 4 قصير يعني من تقريبا 9 صفحات أو حتى 8 صفحات ونص. So this is what I want you to do. Make sure that by Monday you have watched all of the recordings and that you have prepared chapter 4. And I want you to focus on the development of action. Okay? Pay more attention to how the action developed and how the development of action affects the characters and the promises that are made in the first chapter. Do you have any questions?
Yes.
Yes, مين اللي حكت؟ Yes, عبلة تفضل.
عبلة why انت سو قلتي انه يعني we cannot call her a dreamer بس she wants to be something more. Why can't we call her a dreamer?
تعرفي لفظ ساخطة يعني I was trying to find the right, it's like she's holding grudge against everything and everyone. And a person who holds grudge against the world and people, they're not in the full sense of being a dreamer, because usually when you're a dreamer, it's like you're filled with hope. You know what you're going to do. You have plans. She doesn't have plans. Yes, she wants a better future, and maybe she dreams about a better future, but it's like she's not open to everything. When you're a dreamer, you're open to the possibilities. You're open to the adventures. You're open to embracing new things. And this just doesn't fit her character. And one of the things that limit the description of being a dreamer is that she doesn't want to work for herself. She's working for others. And when you're trying so hard to live for others, you wouldn't usually find time for yourself. And it's not like she tells us about the future she wants her family to have and she wants herself to have. So there is a sense of dreaming of a better future, but she's not a real dreamer. And it's like, again, she hates everyone. She holds grudge against everyone. And this is what Devola told her. She told her clearly that just stop hating everyone. Don't hate everyone. Let me find the quotation. إذا بتتذكروه شي هيك حكت لها؟ قالت لها you hate everyone. وينها؟ هيها.
Yes.
She's mad, not hate, mad at everyone. It's on page 13, second long paragraph, our third paragraph from last, in the middle, she says, Devola says, Devola gazed at me. I wish you wouldn't be so mad at everyone all the time. It makes you ugly. So we know that even her sister sees that she's always mad at everything and at everyone. A person who's mad at everything and everyone is not a dreamer. That's what I want you to understand. Does that make sense, يا عبلة?
Yes, yes. كمان سؤال بس.
Yes.
انت تو قلتي انه she said that Devola doesn't know her way in the kitchen. Again in page 18 she said انه
She
Devola
knows
is
about
good about
cooking. Yeah.
the cooking. Doesn't that make يعني انه doesn't it show her that she's contradicting herself ولا يعني contradiction
It
has
does.
nothing to do with her?
It does make her very contradicting, and this appeared multiple times before, like again when the traveler came and she spoke to him, and she says that Devola was cloud-headed because of the way she spoke to him, but then we see that she's the one who's cloud-headed the way she spoke to him. So yes, it feels like from like the very first chapter we see that she is she's being very contradicting. One of the girls asked, can I consider her an unreliable narrator? And maybe at first I said that we don't have a clear we don't have clear evidence that she is unreliable, because she does not, like, maybe she's unreliable in her own head, but she doesn't give us twisted understanding of reality. Yani with Pony Boy, he used to manipulate the reality he showed us. So we felt that what he tells us could be a lie. But I can't call Mary Cole a liar. Like, she's not a liar. She's just she's showing you things from her own perspective. When it came to Pony Boy, he told us that he didn't believe himself. He told us that he is not reliable when it comes to the truths about others. But Mary Cole, she has been telling us everything the way it is. She hasn't been twisting the reality. But again, when we say about the kitchen thing and the fact that Mary Cole is cloud-headed, I don't think she does things intentionally. I think she believes what she's saying. I think she believes herself. Yani Pony Boy did not believe himself. But I think Mary Cole is not intentionally lying to herself or to us. I think that this is what she actually believes about herself and her family. Any other question? رح يطفي. حد عنده سؤال؟
Thank
أنا
you
خلصت.
miss. يعطيك العافية يا miss.
الله يعافيك. بحاول
يعطيك
أنزل.
العافية بس.
أشوفكم إن شاء الله بكرة. يلا السلام عليكم.